it's perhaps the most dangerous right now when he's having fun with himself and just enjoying every single game that he's playing, pretty much every single day at this point. In the bottom left side of Glittering Ashes, we are looking at the main base of the World Champ of 2021. But no more. Now he's the runner-up. Representing Kaisi Gaming, it is Reynor.
And in the top right-hand side, most recently winning for the Stasis Warriors in the Caster Civil War, it is also for Kaisi Gaming, Spirit.
Do you think when they designed this logo for Kaisi Gaming, this was their plan all along? If they have two players of Kaisi Gaming, their double logo basically becomes one big logo.
Oh, wow.
It does look like it, doesn't it? It's so perfect. Cool, yeah. That can't be a coincidence.
It can't be. Whoa, CC first. I like it.
You know, it's really hard though when you get excited over CC first. You're like, CC first, and then you realize that because of CC first, there is no excitement for at least another minute or so. But yeah, we
used up all the excitement.
Yeah, you're like, there it is, and now we wait. Yeah, it's the meme. But talk to me about CC first, guys. I know that the TVZ is a matchup that you've always enjoyed a lot over the years, and I know you spend a lot of time in the Discords with some of the boys, Lambo, Laser. What do you make of it on Glittering?
Well, CC first in my games is bad news because my drone arrives and I can't block it. Can't take a hatchery there. But in most other games outside of my crappy games, it means that you're gonna have a faster start in terms of economy. You still hit similar timings if you want to go for something like a 2-1-1. So we'll see what Spirit chooses to do here, but I like the approach because you're just gonna get away with more economy, and it's very, very difficult to punish with anything really, and it gets a huge advantage against pull first type builds that aren't super aggressive. You know, if you're going up against Bly, you probably just lose right away, but against everything else, it's just kind of chill.
Reynor is not totally sure about it yet. If I take a look at the drone movement, because he was kind of hiding the drone on the left side of the third behind the mineral patches, and then suddenly he's like, wait a minute, there shouldn't have already been a Reaper here. There should be a Reaper right now, shooting away at my Zerglings. And then he descended back, took the hatchery immediately. So of course, Spirit's going to have a good economy, but Reynor is also going to have a great economy, as he can just hold down that drone button and really doesn't have anything to worry about until, I want to say, the first 4 Hellions are out, because nobody would really play CC first and then just YOLO swag 420, the 2 Hellions in. Also, by the way, after that chat prediction where 42%, I believe, of chat thinks that Spirit is going to win this game, I double checked my calendar. I'm like, is it the 20th of April over here? But it's not.
It is not, but there is a triple CC extremely fast on the side of Spirit here. That's just about as fast as you can go in this particular matchup. He's also not accounting for anything like a Roach all-in of any kind, right? Because if that was the case, he would be in a lot of trouble. He might try to semi-account for something like that with a Banshee, but Spirit is cutting corners, and I love that because he is the underdog, and he is playing like he's the underdog. And if he gives himself a little edge, maybe that's all he needs to really take it to Reynor.
Is there a chance that Spirit wants to play mech against Reynor?
No, surely not.
I mean, I feel like Reynor...
I haven't seen much mech from Spirit.
Same. But I feel like going mech is not a bad idea against Reynor. Maru has often found a lot of success with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I think that Reynor is the type of player that will outpace you, right? And maybe that's the difference between Reynor and Serral. Serral is a player that if you give him the space to get to the late game, that's where he thrives. And Spirit is the type of player that wants to take it to the late game. Mm-hmm. Reynor can play the late game as good as anyone other than Serral, perhaps. But, you know, like that, he's, I think, the strongest player in the world when it comes to mid-game, when it comes to aggression, when it comes to just multi-prong harassment, right? And that's where Spirit can maybe match him better than just about any other Terran in Europe. But still, Reynor is, you know, probably the best at it. So stylistically, I think it's an okay matchup for Spirit, but still obviously favored for Reynor. And yeah, we'll see. I like the corners that Spirit has cut so far.
Yeah, Reynor very good in looking for all those openings and trying to take multiple fights at once. And then Spirit can definitely just be, the Terran equivalent of the Mauer every now and then, where he just kind of sits back and defends wave after wave and suddenly finds himself into the late game while being in a pretty good spot. Well, maybe indeed when he goes up against Sero, yeah, you get into the late game, but 85% of the map is covered in creep and Sero is completely ready for your ultra late game army. So far, though, Reynor has not really taken any losses yet. That's the first Zergling that has gone down 5 minutes and 30 seconds into the game. And we also haven't really picked off a lot of Cryptomors. Maybe that's kind of a given when we play CC first, but I think at this point of your Spirit, you do hope for something, right? A drone here, a drone there, a couple Zerglings running into your Hellions, because this doesn't feel too pleasant, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely not. And talk about that creep spread from Cyril. I mean, Reynor is second. I was gonna say second to none. He's second to several, maybe, but I mean, he is creep spreading like a madman as well. So one good thing about Spirit and his type of game is that he, even though does play the Daimauer style sometimes, he will sit back and he wants to get his 13 or whatever number he likes of CCs. I think it's like 11 or something that he likes traditionally. He can still put on a lot of pressure. He has excellent multitasking. As I say, that almost loses from Banshee, but does get 3 drones.
Yeah. The problem with killing 3 drones right now is that you're killing 3 drones of a 70 drone economy, so that doesn't have a very big impact. But if the Hellions would kill 3 drones of a 45 drone economy, that obviously hurts a whole lot more. Yeah, Reynor is thriving, man. Reynor is just, at this point, consuming the map, dropping the Spire, dropping double Evo. He's going to play some Muda Link Bane with double upgrades. And it almost feels to me that Spirit is going to have one very strong push while going up to 4 bases. And then I hope for him that that push is going to be great. Because if it's not, he's going to face the ultimate swarm, man. It's not going to be a very pleasant swarm to deal with.
It's not going to be a very pleasant swarm. At the same time, I mean, this is Spirit's game plan, right? Like, the game has to be going like he would expect it to be going. The Banshees were mostly, I think, safety for all-ins and double down as pressure later on. I don't think that he's looking to make a very strong push here. Just clear creep, just get some control in the middle of the map. He is taking a 4th. We talk about Reynor's 70 worker economy, now 80. But, I mean, Spirit's right behind him at 75.
Yep, that is good. Marines a little bit far away from the Hellions, though. All the Hellions get surrounded. Few Marines do manage to jump into that medevac. I don't know. Not totally feeling it, but indeed, if Spirit just keeps on upgrading, keeps on increasing the quality of his army, and Reynor does start getting a little bit reckless with some of the attacks that we know he is going to make soon, and then it doesn't look too bad. I wouldn't even hate double turret per mineral line in a game like this. When you know we're going up against Mudas, you know Reynor is going to be rich. I actually think double turret would be kind of sweet.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I agree with you on the basis that Reynor and multitasking wise, he is unmatched. But the game is going like Spirit would want it to go. It might also be going like Reynor would want it to go, but he doesn't get to dictate the pace as much with the Zerg race. Not until, the creep threat is on your opponent's half of the map. So we're getting there. But up until this point, Spirit is well set up. I think he's going to go, there's an extra CC. I think he's going to go for those 9 CCs, and he's going to want to play an ultra late game here.
And Reynor is going up to 100 drones or 99 drones, I believe it is. I love how the Spirit, by the way, cloaked his Banshees literally on his side of the map, realizing that if he doesn't cloak them earlier, they're going to be revealed by all the creep that Reynor already has going for himself. Seems like these Banshees will get picked up. There is an Overseer here, and there is another Overseer. That's going to grant some detection there too. Double Sensor Tower. It is indeed going to be Spirit becoming Showtime, but then playing Terran. And Reynor, I think, is going to throw a lot of Zerg stuff at him.
Yeah, Spirit tucks the Banshee into the corner, which is going to give it way to escape from the Muta. At the same time, he's going to attempt at a little bit of harass, but Reynor already with 2 spores. I love that Reynor made as many drones as he did. 93 still on the field. And Spirit, actually, look at this wonderful job. Only drops 4 Marines, evacuates the middle line, and then goes with the rest into the main, having already passed those 2 spores. So Spirit, very adept, very good at harassing himself, and is going to look to keep Reynor on his side of the map.
Gonna steam those Marines as well. Reynor has a lot of links in the main, but actually not doing anything yet. Now, just a couple of them running ahead of the party. This medevac will get picked off, but Spirit is obviously increasing the quality of his army, adding in more Thors, adding in more Gulls. 2 upgrades are about to finish up. since he's getting close to maxing out, do you think it's okay for Spirit to try to get something done with his, at this point, superior army, or should he just turtle and try to go up to 5 bases?
I think that because it's Spirit, his philosophy is those command centers. Like he talks about how he likes his 9 to 11 command centers, right? So I think that's what we're gonna see. I think if it was a different player, there would be an opening when you get maxed to maybe try to make something happen. But I think Spirit's just gonna look for the long game here. And against the likes of Reynor and the army complexity that he has at this point, I think that's a good call.
Oh, Reynor is trying to make some magic happen. Mudo's right-clicking on a command center as the Marines are nearby. And the Thors have also been able to get a couple of shots off. 4 ghosts at a time already, by the way. 11-minute mark, and we are producing 4 ghosts at a time.
Yeah, and great spread of the army of Spirit, deflecting Reynor on both sides there. I expect Liberators maybe in the long run, but Ghosts and Planetary Fortress with 4 command centers on the way for Spirit. So this is the game that he wants to play, and he is playing it really well right now.
Yeah, Mudos have been a little bit underwhelming right when I say that. Obviously, they kill a command center. There was no cancel on that one. So that's kind of the biggest victory that Reynor's had so far.
Whew.
If you are maxed out, there's a lot of turrets here. 6 turrets.
Like a lot.
A couple snipes could go down too. We are going to get 1 snipe down. Reynor is going to try to make magic happen with a lot of banelings at the 5th base. That is enough banelings to probably blow up this planetary fortress and maybe grab a lot of those SCVs as well. Kind of loses track of the SCVs. I mean, that was actually not even that bad of a trade. It just sucks with Spirit that he lost the planetary fortress. But Reynor now losing 3,000 resources more. It's still early, but it was that even before that.
Yeah, exactly. As soon as that's going down, that is the tab that I pull, this resources lost, because that is not a cost-effective trade for Reynor at all. So the only way that you capitalize on that is by knowing I killed the planetary fortress. That location is weak or weaker than it was for a little bit. If Reynor can capitalize and look to attack on that same weakened joint, then maybe it makes sense. But in the long run, if the map is split, that kind of move will actually end up netting, bad trades for Reynor.
For us, Nuke is being researched too now by Spirit. And Reynor definitely has been molding a little bit over some of the games that he's had in the last 2 months, where Terran players turtle it up like crazy and just increase the ghost count over and over again. And he runs into that brick wall. Let's see if the Lings and Banes are able to get something done in the natural. There are a couple of safety tanks here. Banelings getting picked off, but they will take off at least a couple of these tanks. But that's kind of all they're getting done here, though.
Yeah, I mean, the setup from Spirit is just beautiful, right? Like this, there's no Terran player in Europe that is gonna be as well rehearsed at just turtling into the late game as Spirit is. So if we look at his setup, for example, look at those supply depots, perfectly spaced to make it difficult for Banelings to be super effective, but great for Marines to go into chokes against circling Rambais. He has 2 tanks and a bunker, and he has, I think, the upgrade to, no upgrade to fortify buildings yet. But I mean, his setup is just incredibly strong against what Reynor usually brings, which is that multitasking, that pulling you apart, right? Like, Spirit is just ready everywhere.
Yep. Wave after wave. I believe there is a song made about that. And that is kind of what Reynor is going for at this point. And for a long time, he's going to be able to do this. There will be a moment, 10, 15, 20 minutes into the future, where you can't really do this anymore. This seems like a pretty good one, as this time around, he brings the Mudas together with all the Banelings. A lot of snipes go down, though. Personal cloaking has been used. Banelings deal damage, but don't actually kill that many ghosts. But it wasn't the worst fight for Reynor. There is a nuke going down at the triangle base of Reynor, and Reynor is paying attention. Well done.
Yeah, of course. Reynor is so good at just looking everywhere. But does pull his army back for it. I mean, the trade on the other side of the map was not effective once again, or efficient once again for Reynor. But again, gets rid of the static defense of a lot of those supply depots. No more bunker there, no more tank there. So if Reynor keeps tabs of where he's actually punching Spirit and can continue to punch those same areas, maybe he can carve himself away. But otherwise, if Spirit can split the map over time, the game is looking pretty good for the poll.
Still building so many Mudas as well, right? We still have 18 Mutalisks on the battlefield, and we've already lost 27 Mudas. If this continues, this is going to be one of these crazy games where we actually lose over 100 Mudas. Nuke goes down at the same location as Reynor is going to try to get lucky in the natural. Finds a couple of goals. That is a great start. The other ghosts are very exposed. This seems like a very good attack by Reynor, though.
Very good. Yeah, very, very good. Great job sectioning off the Muta as well to kill the little bit of contingency of units that was hiding behind the supply depots. There's no longer a bunker here. The supply depots are mostly gone. Nowhere to hide for a lot of the units of Spirit, and it looks like Reynor has finally breached. Now Reynor can just continue to apply the pressure and maybe look to close out the game. He does exercise extra pressure on the joint that he had weakened from Spirit. So I love that.
I love the way that Reynor has done it when it comes to, all right, Mutas and Banes go, or Lings and Banes go here, Mutas go there, and then he rotated it around a couple of times, and at one point he's like, man, he just leaves too many units everywhere. No, I'm just going to bring everything at the same location, and obviously bursts through, kills everything that you just mentioned before, and then immediately grabs everything again. Because if we take a look at that 5th base of Spirit, there's a bunch of siege tanks there that would have been so useful in some of these previous fights. That's number 4. But they weren't there because they were still waiting for Reynor to split his army up. And Reynor said, nope, that time is over. Now we're just going to go with everything at the same place. Banelings once more finding a couple of decent connections. Should be able to get the SCVs. Instead, we'll settle for the Marines. Mutas very casually kill Planetary Fortress. And now the tanks are going to be a bit exposed. That ghost count that was pretty terrifying a while ago is suddenly not that terrifying anymore. Only 5 remain. 21 have gone down. And I hope that Spirit switches up a little bit. I don't hate the idea of trying to turtle, trying to beat that wall. Maybe this is not the best map for it, though.
Yeah, and I mean, all credit to Reynor. I think that Spirit maybe could have solidified his position again, like remade some of those bunkers, maybe had a planetary fortress in that location or something, right? Like,
yeah.
But Reynor did a really, really good job here. I was surprised even in the last, because this was the 3rd punch in a row that Reynor threw to that same area. I was surprised that the Muta weren't with the army, but on the path back, the Muta still find the planetary fortress, like you mentioned, which isn't the biggest deal, but then the tanks that were defending as well. So things are getting more and more difficult for Spirit. Now he has consolidated most of his army here, but yeah, I'm not sure if Reynor wants to be attacking into this, actually.
And that was a much, much better trade this time around. We have just Lings, by the way, going for the planetary. SCVs trying to repair, but the Lings are preventing the SCVs from repairing. Who needs Banelings when we have Zerglings with +3 and Adrenal glands? Those are some very feisty little Lings. And Reynor gets a pick up there on a base that he's probably not supposed to get. And it was kind of needed because the Baneling attack was a little bit of a disaster this time around.
Yeah, I think that was beautiful from Reynor because he identifies, it's what you were saying before, right? Like Spirit was spread too thin, so Reynor needed to group up with his entire army and punch the same location a few times. That's exactly what he did. It worked. Now Spirit says, okay, like I have to consolidate my entire army because he's doing the same thing over and over. And now Reynor kind of mixes it up to where he hits with the Bane Muta, but those Lings are kind of a separate part of his army, and Spirit doesn't have any more units on the other side, so they actually get in. And now it's fine to split units around and exactly what Reynor is doing right now because he knows that the army's somewhere all together.
Banelings not even needed for this planetary. It's just Banelings going for all the SCVs. These 4 SCVs are like 2 Banelings for every single SCV that was left over there. Spirit does have a very big army supply, but he doesn't have the crazy ghost count anymore than he had earlier. So it is not that terrifying. We still have a bunch of Mutas flying around, trying to pick up, I guess, 1 turret at a time. Maybe a few ghosts, but that's a few too many ghosts to fly into. It does really feel that we are watching a bit of a beatdown. Even though there's always some hope, right? Whenever the Terran has a bigger army than the Zerg, there is always some hope, and there are plenty of orbitals to work with. But I just don't see how Spirit moves out anytime soon. On creep, it's going to be so damn hard. That planetary is not done yet, by the way, on the left. So it's going to be in a bit of trouble. Lings get on top of the tanks. There are Banelings coming in from the left side. Going to try to connect with the bio. We burned a couple of Banelings on the ramp, and that could very well come into play.
It will, ouch!
Well done.
Very nice job. Yeah, I missed the chaos. Reynor manages to borrow 2 of those. Banelings and Spirit now had the biggest supply deficit that he has been all game. 100 supply for the Italian. So now Spirit is trying to make something happen on the other side of the map. Still has 9 orbitals, like you mentioned, to work with, and 2 unmorphed command centers that are looking to turn into most likely planetary fortresses. So if Spirit can somehow stabilize, you know, this still could run longer, but I don't think that Reynor is the type of player to give him that chance. He's just going to continue to
These
circles
links
around him.
are so feisty, and especially when the tanks are exposed, they get picked up so quickly. The Marauder stands no chance. I'd love to see Reynor take out a couple of the Sensor Towers whenever he has the chance. I kind of hate Sensor Towers, cats. There you go. As he grows with the Sensor Tower in the natural. But that also makes his follow-up attacks a lot more successful. There's still one bailing, by the way. Burrow bailing on the ramp. But that one will not come into play. GG gets called. And I honestly feel that Reynor put on a little bit of a clinic on how to play, at least on Glittering, against a very defensive third-lead Terran. But I think it's a lot harder to make this style work on, let's say, Curious Minds, as we saw Reynor struggle with Beyond, for instance, in the cast of Civil War. When Terrans play like that, it's really hard to break them on some maps. But I think Glittering is one of these maps where, yeah, you can go everywhere, right? There are so many different bases to attack, so many different angles to come from, and Reynor played it out very well.
Yeah, I think he definitely did. I think that Spirit had a very good setup a couple of times, but I think once he got wiped a couple of times, he didn't really remake those bunkers and really didn't reposition the extra tanks, and that ended up costing him. Against a player like Reynor, you know, if he sees weakness, he's gonna smell it and he's gonna go for it, and that's exactly what he did. So, beautiful job by him indeed. But yeah, I think that Spirit, maybe on a different map or maybe just changing a couple of things around, can definitely take it to that late game. I imagine that's got to be his game plan here.
So the second map is Hardwire. Now that is definitely known as a better turtle map than I think Glittering Ashes is. We have seen countless of ultra late game TVCs on this map, and we have definitely seen the ghost shine. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see a similar game. I think the strategy would be better on this map. Also wouldn't hurt to just switch it up as Spirit's like, all right, I tried the late game one time, didn't quite work. I'm going to try to be a little more aggressive and switch it up. Try to look for some more economic damage. Because I always think playing a TVZ, whenever you go up against, let's say, Dark, Rogue, Reynor, Serral, and you just let them be, like, that's terrifying, man. Like, I almost feel like you always need to look for that damage before the 7-8 minute mark to at least slow them down a little bit. Because these guys, they just explode and suddenly they're maxed out, and not for one time, but they will max out over and over again and throw everything they have at you.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, Spirit, as far as that game that he wanted to play, he did cut corners enough that he kept up in economy with Reynor. But like you said, I mean, it's Terran's meant to apply pressure, right? As a race, they just have like the stronger mid-game units that you can squeeze more value out of. So I wouldn't hate that approach at all. Maybe Spirit expects that Reynor's the type of aggressive player that will continue to run into him like he did in the previous game, so can't blame him too much, but we'll see whatever he chooses to do. In the top right hand side for Kaisi Gaming, it is the very strong Polish player Spirit.
And in the bottom left side, we've got the runner-up of the World Championships of StarCraft 2 in 2022, the Italian Zerg, now representing Kaisi Gaming as well. This is Reynor. Still playing these games from the UK, I believe, but I do think that this is his final week in the UK. And then I think he's moving back to Italy for a little while before he spreads his wings elsewhere. Who knows where that boy may go?
Who knows? He probably doesn't go. He probably doesn't know. And he's probably also like Reynor, I think, is the type of person that would also look to punish a Spirit if he thought he was being too greedy in the previous game, right? He'd be like, you can't get away with that. So we'll see if he chooses to do something like a more aggressive, even early to mid game strategy. Should Spirit go for that very fast third CC again?
We also know that he's got a very healthy little ego, and whenever Reynor joins a group like this, he wants to go 7-0, he wants to go 14-0. He wants to make a statement that he is ready for the playoffs, that he's in top tier shape. So you don't want to drop a map by doing an all-in, and then the all-in gets scouted, or your opponent just has a great hold. Because Reynor, he's very confident he's going to make it into the playoffs, of course. He's very confident that he can win this group, but he wants to win the group in a flawless manner. So do you really want to throw in that random all-in there and take the risk of losing a map on the very first play day? I don't think he does it.
Yeah, I don't think so either. It's within his reach, but yeah, he's definitely the favorite here, right? So doesn't need to really cut any corners. At the same time, that does open, if Spirit figures that out, right? Like there's an opening for him to continue to try to cut corners himself. We'll see if he takes that, as this time around he opens with the Reaper, not the very fast CC on the low ground. I'm gonna poke here.
This is the poke that we missed last game, cats. There was no quick Reaper on the other side of the map. I've missed it. I like this dance. Flawless micro
like
though by
this
Reynor. He's also not a believer in the 6 circling defense. 4 links is all he needs. And he passed the test.
He passes the test more often than not. Yeah, I mean, maybe that's why our boy Spirit skipped on the Reaper the first time, right? Because for Reynor, it is a failure to lose 1 circling. Never mind the drone. Yeah.
No, a drone is unacceptable. A drone is GG
completely,
as well. In the eyes of a pro gamer, if the Reaper gets the drone, GG, it's over. Like, you can't really come back from this. Circling is... They shake their head. They're like, shouldn't have happened. Creep 2 are getting picked up. That's lovely.
That's a shake head, yeah. Very nice. That's a little bit of a shake of a head, but yeah, I mean, Reynor, when he plays Archon with the European boys, the Harstem, Lambo, and the Laser, I've seen them play against them, and they offered a Laser a Cuba Libre for every circling that he kills. And Laser actually killed a drone once from Reynor, and everyone was going crazy. Yeah,
that's a bottle then. Then you deserve the bottle.
It's gotta be, right?
If the circling is a single drink, then killing a drone is the bottle.
Yeah.
I expect Reynor to settle that debt at the next Home Story Cup. Does he Laser even drink though? He's so healthy, man. Every single day I see him posting about like running 5 kilometers. It's like I haven't even woken up yet, and he already ran for 12 minutes. Damn it, Miko. I mean, you're inspiring, but you're also making me feel bad.
Yeah. Miko. I haven't seen one of his running streams lately, but you know, he actually streams himself running sometimes. It's very inspiring.
Yeah, no, but he's posting the Strava map thing on his Insta every single day.
Nice. Yeah.
All right, so Cloak Banshees is going to be the opening once more. Now, these Banshees will be out a little bit earlier than they were in the previous game because of the way that we opened up. And I hope that Spirit is able to find a bit of economic damage with a wombo combo. You know, maybe Hellions in the natural, Banshees at the third, or Banshees at the main, and then Hellions in the third. Just anything to slow Reynor down a little bit. And even if you're not supposed to find that much damage, I don't hate the idea of just trying to get lucky. Because we know that if we don't kill any drones, playing against Reynor in this matchup is a nightmare.
It surely is, especially when he hasn't cut as many corners as he did in the first game, right? Like, this is kind of like a normal opening for the Terran side of things. So he has to at least contain this creep, but it's going to be very difficult now that he has been pushed onto the low ground.
Creep is being sent forward, already kind of reaching the halfway point of this map. I like that little scouting circling of Reynor on the left side. Does not see the Banshees, but I still like having it there. Just a bit of map presence. Or in case the Hellions took a very weird route and suddenly show up at the left side, you don't want to see them by the time they're that close towards your natural. Very early cloak by Spirit. I don't hate it. So it's not going to get revealed by an Overseer on the minimap.
Yeah, and there is an Overlord there, right? So Reynor does account for the Banshees to some degree with that Overlord. Nice Evo Chamber block here for the Hellions. These Banshees are going to get in, but quick reactions from the former world champion, as you would expect.
Cats, why wouldn't Spirit just drive below that Evo? Instead of attacking at the Evo, why don't we just go towards the bottom of that gas, pass by it, and try to get a couple shots off? Are we that worried about getting surrounded and losing all the Hellions?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, yeah, if you lose all the Hellions, it's lights out, right? It's very difficult to make a decision like that because it is a longer route. There could be speedlings nearby, and then you're just dead.
Yeah, they were nearby, but obviously if all the Hellions are clumped up, then it can be kind of hard for Lynx to dive on top of them, right? They kind of need Queen support.
Yeah, they can. Yeah, but they can just zone the Hellions from escaping. So you can just put your Lynx outside in a concave and then just have the Queens deal with them. And if the Hellions try to run out, then the Lynx kill them.
That is indeed very smart. No, unfortunately, Spirit not getting a lot done. 1 drone, 1 link so far, and a single Banshee have already gone down. It's just a bit painful, but we do have to follow up. The first 2 medevacs are moving out, and maybe with a quick stim, we can get a great fight somewhere as second Banshee is close to falling in the main base as well.
Yeah, I mean, Reynor with a beautiful perimeter of 3 Spore Crawlers to prevent exactly what just happened. So nice job from Spirit finding the one spot where the Banshee could still shoot at the drones. Does get 1 for his troubles, but you know, that's all he's gonna find.
Spirit sending over the 4th command center, but Lings are here. Lings are not going to go for it, though. They just want to run into the natural. We raised the depot at the absolute last second. That could not have been any later.
Oh.
There is a tank firing away from so far, as the Hellions now do find a lot of drone damage. Reynor is obviously trying to find damage as well on the other side of the map, and he will with some Lings and
he will,
Veins.
big.
You know, the Hellion shots were good. Let's not lose the tanks. Can we not lose the tanks?
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean this 3rd position is very fortified. Actually, only 8 SCVs is a very surprisingly low amount to lose for the size of the run by that happened there for Reynor. A little bit of a mistake dropping the mules though from Spirit.
Can you put a Mew instead of a medevac?
No, that would be cool though.
Yeah, I've never seen it. I was like, I guess you can't, but it would be nice. Reynor definitely took a little more damage there than he wanted to, though. And Spirit is going up to 4 bases. The planetary is pretty much finishing up. Well done. I don't think that was bad for Spirit at all.
Yeah.
Especially because Reynor is only working with Lings and Veins this game. We don't have a Hydra Den. We don't have a Spire. We obviously don't have a Lurker Den yet or something along those lines. It's just pure Link Bane. And if you then this close in economy, you got to be pretty happy with it as a Terran. I wouldn't even hate a couple of random Wither Mines, but I guess it's really hard to go from tank production into Wither Mines.
Yeah, the creep threat's also not as good as it was at the start of the game. Reynor has slowed down a little bit on that regard. Now he's going up to a Hive. Maybe there will be a Hydra then to complement that and go into those lurkers that you were mentioning before. Otherwise, we might see Ultra play, which not the most common, but it's still pretty good, I think, in this matchup.
Yeah, I agree. I think the meme of like, oh, Ultras into Troll. It's like, man, which Ultra games do you guys watch? Because whenever I see them, I just see them swarming and swallowing up entire bio armies. Of course, if the ghost count gets crazy high, yeah, then Ultras can just get picked off one at a time. But before we are looking at like 10 plus ghosts, I think Ultras are pretty terrifying.
They can definitely be. I mean, Reynor definitely has the economy to support that type of style where you're gonna just be hitting everywhere with ultras and swallowing like your opponent, like you were talking about, right? Like a very similar style to what he was doing in the last game. As Spirit is gonna look to continue to find damage with this medevac drop. The Queens do reposition to try and hold, but a few workers will fall. So pretty successful little medevac there from Spirit, who's also doing a good job of containing the creep on the other side of the map. So that might offer him an avenue onto that high ground to siege that triangle base later on.
Yeah, well, that was a good little trade. And indeed, killing the drones is nice, but that little Marine hit squad that now unfortunately does still get picked off. Picked off 2 Queens there, I believe, and a couple of Links. So it definitely wasn't bad at all. The supplies are awfully close, and when it's just Link Bane, that is not really where Reynor wants to be. I'm sure that Reynor wants to deal more economic damage. Now we get a Spire, but that's a very late Spire. And 16 more drones as well. What's that all about, Cats?
Yeah, I don't know. I do love the pathogen glands, though. I think that infestors are terribly underrated in this matchup. And yeah, usually you can see sometimes from Cyril, often from Scarlet, but not many of the top tier Zergs use infestors that much in this matchup. So it's nice and refreshing to see from Reynor here.
I feel like Reynor never has
a lot
been,
of drones.
like he obviously got a lot better with them over the years, but Reynor never been that big on the infestors. The tank's very exposed here though. Reynor sees that opening, gets the majority of them, gets all of them, and a couple of Zerglings even live to tell the story to their Zergling brethren at home. That was good. I think Spirit was a little busy dealing with the Lings and Banes in the top left side. Reynor, his speed, I think, really showcased there.
Yeah, second Spire. So we see more or less what the plan is for Reynor. Here he's going to play most likely Broodlord Viper with Infestors. And with the Broodlords, the Infestors are a little bit more common. I agree with you. It's not the unit that you think of when you think of Reynor. It's a very tactical unit, not a very fast, I'm going to be in your face and everywhere type unit, right? And I think that that's where Reynor thrives. Whereas when you think of Cyril, like he's going to be looking for those opportunities with one burrowed Infestor and like those little maneuvers that are just tactically really advanced. See, here we see Reynor doing what he does best as he goes into the main, but it's a well-defended arc from Spirit.
Yeah, but we saw a little bit of this in the previous game as well, where he kind of just uses the first wave to open things up. You take out the bunker, you take out the tank, then the second one gets a whole lot better. There's still some creep here, so these Marines need to be careful, as we do have a double drop on the left side. It's Queens against an army. I know who I'm favoring, Kat.
The Queens.
Of course. That's what I was saying. One of the Queens did fall. The second Queen falls, or the third one even. 4 Queens do go down. But they did buy a lot of time for the Lynx to show up. At the same time, though, Spirit also dropping on the right side, or he just ran towards it, because this is obviously very close towards his own triangle base. Well done, man. Spirit's getting some great trades. Reynor has lost a lot more resources in this game than Spirit. And economically, it's honestly been pretty close for the majority of this game. So not bad at all by the Polish Terran.
Yeah, not bad at all. And I really think that attack on the left-hand side was really good. And I would love for Spirit to start moving maybe towards that side with his siege tanks and just a big army. Because that space is so difficult to defend for Reynor right now. He has no creep whatsoever. So that base is super exposed. And if you can get that base on the left-hand side, you can also siege from that high ground onto the triangle. So I think that Spirit being where he is, right? Like having that planetary fortress to stage an attack from that position, I would love for him to do that.
He's at 105 drones and he makes 10 more, cats. Come on.
Animal.
Like, this is actually, now it's getting silly. And of course, we can morph them into extractors, spore crawlers, spines, and whatnot, as we are basically relying on parasitic bomb as NTR. We used a double parasitic bomb to kill one medevac, and now I guess we're going to use 2 more parasitic bombs to deal with these 2 liberators. Oh, well, it's something.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, Spirit is going for his Ultra Gate late game strategy, so we're not going to see that push that we were talking about. Instead, we're going to see 2 ghosts, 6 command centers nearly completed, now 3 to be completed, so 3 just finished. And nuke, I mean, yeah, this is just Spirit in a nutshell. Do
you think this is a worker record in the DreamHack Masters Europe? 115, maybe, yeah. 116 drones, 15, 16, I guess to cancel something. Like, that is actually the most that I've seen in a competitive match in quite some time.
Yeah, I think it's the most I've seen in a competitive match as well, so.
Like, if Spirit would right now just parade push through the center, how is he ever going to lose a fight? Reynor's still building drones. He's going up to 160 now, probably makes a few more after he feels like he's going to lose one somewhere. Like, right now, the army of Spirit's already bigger. If he maxes out, he can just go through the center.
Or through the left-hand side. Yeah, I feel like he could, and maybe he should, but it's just not his style. So Reynor playing like the caliber of player that he is to his opponent as well. And you love to see it. This ghost is gonna die a terrible death.
Man, I'm gonna feel so poor the next time I have like 84 probes.
EMP. Neuroparasite into EMP might be happening here. Instead, it's gonna be a fungal for the Lynx to get this around. And that is even better for Reynor here.
Why drain energy when you can just kill all 5? That was a pretty sweet little wombo combo.
Really, really nice. With the Lynx nearby, I mean, yeah, that's absolutely nasty. And that is kind of like the Serral effect as far as those infestors. Serral is the player that has been using them in that regard most consistently, right? Like most others, it's a beautiful nuke. It's actually on the red spot, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So utilizing the map to be the seatful.
Yeah, that's very cool. Well done, gets 7 drones now. Reynor's probably gonna be like, oh no, I need to redrone immediately. We know that he really doesn't. Now, of course, this is gonna allow his bank to grow like crazy as we have double parasitic bomb going down on the bottom right side. Those 2 medevacts not really able to get that much done.
Yeah. He did redrone, which is crazy. But yeah, is that nuke impossible to spot? I think it might be, right?
If you move your camera, like, it depends how you move your camera, right? Because the dot doesn't change, but the terrain angle does change.
Oh, true that. Good point.
It's the same with like dropping it behind the health point bar. Like, there are some moments where you can't see it, but then if you look at it from a different angle, you would be able to see it. A couple of infestors very casually getting picked up though on the left side. At this point, since both players are that rich, yeah, losing an infestor, losing a ghost, you don't like it. But both players can do this 10 times over because that's just how rich they are.
They are extremely rich. I also absolutely love that move from Reynor, just burning a couple of Lynx. That's always effective. If there's not a turret in range, in the worst case scenario, you're forcing a scan, which is more expensive than the circlings themselves. And in the best case scenario, they'll stuff later. It could be huge.
Yeah, but Reynor does see it. Ooh.
Yeah, Spirit with a scan to the left-hand side base as he is also taking his left-hand side. Look at the blue blobs on the map, by the way. That's a lot of command centers. And this is a great position for Spirit. This is the siege that I was hoping for a little bit earlier in the game. And I mean, Reynor has been really slow to his Greater Spire. It's not ready yet. So this position will be forfeit. Reynor has to go for the counterattacks. He should find some success. If he is repelled, he's probably going to lose the game. I mean,
Reynor is not gonna find any like straight up army fight success when he's at 115 drones. So now he is building more spines and more spores, so that's gonna free up a little more army supply, and that is absolutely necessary because with over 115 drones, you're just not gonna win a fight against the maxed out Terran. That's actually impossible.
Yeah, I mean, he should be thanking Spirit right now for killing 11 workers because that's actually going to make it more feasible for him to defend. And I'm a little bit sad because I really thought that Spirit, after killing that fourth, could just siege from that high ground and continue to push on forward against a Reynor. And I don't know what Reynor could have done, but now Brood Lords are out. That timing has passed, and we are entering the ultra late game.
We are going to land a nuke on the right side. Reynor does see this one as we drop a Hydralisk then at the 19-minute mark.
Okay.
A couple of links going down to the nuke.
Yeah.
So are we gonna get some lurkers too now, or? Oh, EMP's landing on the infestors. Hey, does he not have the enhanced shockwave? No, he doesn't. Those EMPs look tiny. Cannot believe it. He's trying to work with tiny EMPs. He's making it a skill shot.
Yeah, that's just kind of normal in the matchup, I guess, right? Those are infestors and not Templars. Less common, less impactful in any case. And yeah, I mean, this is...
If we are this rich and we are trying to land EMPs, I feel like we may as well.
100%. It's just that they're not used to. You know, it's not programmed into them to get the enhanced shockwave like they would be in TVP.
All right, we've got the 9 Broodlords on the left side that are trying to get in range of the missile turrets. These links finding a lot of success. Planetary Fortress very close to dying, and it does fall. And that's obviously going to allow future run-bys to be a bit more successful. This Liberator is working overtime, but it's going to have a hard time cleaning up all the Zerglings.
Yeah.
Man, they die so quick. Look at that orbital. It dies so quickly.
Oh.
Link's killing an orbital straight up.
No bueno.
A Thor as well.
Thor. Yeah. It's dead.
What a run. What a run by. I mean, those Marines and Marauders also not going to be enough. We're going to need the entire army at this point. Scan
finally got a choke. Yeah.
Spirit should try to land like 2 nukes. One on the high ground and then one on the low ground where you would expect Reynor to walk towards. He's so sick.
Oh, okay. That's spot that nuke, I think. Yeah, does see it, right?
Yeah.
Does see it. And there, that snipe on the Infestor, that's going to be a little bit more common as well, right? Because usually you don't have Infestors bunched up or the opportunity for the EMP, but snipes more common, especially with the Liberators. Here's a lot of Broodlords. Thor's in position. Good position, actually, for Spirit, I think, to try to fight this short of those Fungals, which are absolutely wonderful. And with that, I mean, Reynor regains a very strong position. The Thors are incredible against Broodlords, though.
We have the Broodlords go a little bit too far forward. That's where the Thors can actually get some good shots off, and then maybe the Ghosts can help out with a couple of snipes. At this point, none of that is happening. They are still fighting at multiple fronts, and Spirit has quite a bit of an army on the right side. He's hanging in there on the left, and now he's actually just going to take out this base. This is a base that belongs to Spirit, though. If we cut this map in half, obviously this is a base that Spirit is supposed to have, and Reynor already stole a couple hundred gas and a couple hundred minerals, but not all that much.
Yeah, I mean, beautiful moves from Spirit here because the Broodlords are super immobile and those tanks are kind of like obsolete once the Broodlords are out. Same with the Marauder. So he uses his mostly useless army that wouldn't have found any success in the left on the right. And he actually takes down 2 bases in that process. So really well done from Spirit.
Yeah. Reynor is, of course, still sitting on a very big bank. Tanks are exposed. Link's gonna try to get on top of it, and we don't really have the Marine numbers to protect these tanks. These are expensive pickups, though, because Spirit may have a lot of minerals, but what he does not have is a lot of gas. So losing 4 tanks and a couple of Marauders like that, all units that cost gas, and that's going to start adding up real quick.
Yeah, at the same time, he doesn't really want to remake those, right? So like that unit contingency, I feel like what Spirit kind of trying to sacrifice those units because he doesn't have any use for them against the army composition that Reynor has right now. So on this side, I think is really where it matters. Spirit, yeah, he's short on gas, but he needs to make more Ghosts. He needs to make basically no tanks at this point.
Go! That's a lot of Ghosts, though. Nice picking up the Overseers there. Whew. Because if we don't pick up the Overseer, those links, we saw how quickly they kill an orbital. That amount of links is also going to take out 5 or 6 Ghosts very quickly, but sniping the Overseers is a great move.
Yeah, really good job from Reynor as well. Spirit drops mules on this side, which makes sense because he just wants to finish mining that base and not have to worry about it anymore. But Reynor identifying that kills a lot of mules with that little ram by Ghosts killing a hatchery, not too common.
No cancel. I found the ghost attack so funny because sometimes it looks like, man, they deal a lot of damage, and then sometimes like these units don't do anything.
Yeah, I guess it's a completely different story against the light Zerg units and the, I guess, armor. Like in that case, I guess building doesn't even have armor, but yeah, it's just chunky. No extra damage from the ghosts.
Seems like we got a neuro parasite going off there on one of the ghosts, but nothing crazy happening. Still more nukes going down on the left. The Reynor has a lot of Zerglings in the natural.
Lift up. People need to lift up here.
Yeah, that's not enough bio, right? That is not enough bio.
It came back. It is now. Like, he brought back a little bit more, but yeah, you're absolutely right. It wasn't enough bio.
It's been problematic to deal with that many links in the main. I like the fact that we're getting drilling claws now. He's like, I've had enough of these ling run bys. You're not even looking. I'm gonna make you worry about Widow Mites.
Yeah, another defensive nuke here from Spirit, just saying, pull back. Don't want to deal with this right now. But if he's not ready to deal with it now, like, how is he ever gonna be ready, right? Because he's maxed out.
Yeah, I guess we can slowly but steady get rid of more SCVs. The beauty of Terran. And we can go down all the way to 12 or 18 SCVs and show up with 180 army, and we can talk about the Fist of Spirit.
That is very true. Another set of Marauders here trying to harass on this side of the map. Not enough medevacs to contend with links over time, but this group is going to be fine for the time being.
Kind of like the random Hellbats, man. Like, I know they're very slow units and they feel stupid and clunky, but Blue Flame Hellbats are so godlike. Even the links with all the upgrades, 3-3 and a Drano, they don't stand a chance against a couple of random Hellbats. I think it's a pretty cool addition that I don't see super often in the late game.
Yeah, it feels awkward. Like, you usually don't have a lot of factories to work with. Your upgrades are not really synced up for it, but I completely agree. I mean, if you're looking for answers for Zerglings, Hellbats with or without amazing upgrades are going to be incredible.
Reynor does have the lurker upgrades at this point. Seismic Spines is done, and the Adaptive Talents upgrade doesn't take too long, so that's going to finish up in the near future as well. Then we've got some good old ultimate late game. Liberator is going to pick up a few more drones in the bottom right, but it's in range of a sport roller. So Reynor was trying to continue killing orbitals, almost picks up another one. I feel like we've seen a lot of links killing orbitals today.
We have, yeah. I mean, there's been a lot of links and a lot of orbitals made, so I guess, yeah, they're gonna be shooting at those. Unfortunately for Spirit, his medevacs were a little bit out of position, so loses the contingency of units that he had to defend on that location a little bit too soon. Beautiful siege from the lurkers. They're gonna outrange this planetary fortress, so they'll definitely chip it over time, and this leaves Spirits with very low options here, as he's gonna bring forward those ghosts and actually saves the planetary fortress, which is huge.
Yeah. Once more sniping the overseers immediately, and then Reynor realizes that it's time to go home. Reynor actually needs more overlords, not something that I thought I would see. How many ghosts is too many, by the way, Caps? We are currently looking at 31 ghosts. The more the merrier, or would you say there is a moment where we can stop?
Well, I think they definitely go down in efficiency, right? Like, because snipe is an action, like it takes an action, so every snipe is going to be harder to pull off than the one before it. So in that sense, you know, I think they lose a little bit of value. In a different sense, they are, for the supply, it's going to be still one of the most efficient units that you can possibly make, regardless of if you can use it to its fullest potential or not. And as far as full potential, I mean, if there's going to be overlapping and if there's going to be good usage, it's going to be from Spirit. He makes more ghosts than probably any other European Terran.
They all use rapid fire to snipe them, right?
They should.
Yeah. Oh, look at that Infestor. In range of the army, could land a mighty fine fungal.
Oh, that's
Spirit
nasty.
did see it, but that's still going to be a lot of ghosts. Hops into the medevac at the absolute last second there, and is able to save a couple of these ghosts with this planetary. It does seem like it is not going to get saved. The ghost can't get out of the medevac.
It's a very tense game indeed, but Spirit has now depleted his bank, so it's getting harder and harder. His army composition is still, I mean, insane as far as like cost. They're dead even. But yeah, I mean, the problem for Spirit is the bank is now gone.
This is problematic though. The units lost resource stat being this close. Like normally we see a Zerg losing 15, 20, 25k more. And even then, it's a very close and competitive game. When they are only 3,000 resources apart from each other, this means that Reynor has been doing a great job with a lot of the trades. Reynor clearly has been the aggressor in this game. He is trying to make stuff happen. Even if he's been over 115 drones at one point, he has always been the one trying to make something happen. And I kind of feel like this is going nowhere for Spirit, but maybe we can max out one time only on our dream army of the Thors, Ghosts, Liberators, and try to take not one amazing fight, but probably 3 amazing fights in a row where we never stop pushing. Because that's kind of the game it's going to have to be, right?
Yeah, my favorite game in Katowice was Clem versus Scarlet on this map. And it was because it came down to something like, to a similar situation like this. Because, yeah, they're very close in terms of like units lost, right? And that usually isn't the case, but that's because the Zerg is usually flooding over and over. This is a very technical game, so even if it is one resource ahead on the side of Spirit by the end of it, it should favor him if he can mine his side of the map. And he's getting very close to mining most of the bases.
But that's kind of the issue, right? Like Reynor has pretty much all of those bases that you're talking about mined out. Meanwhile, Spirit has not been able to fully mine the gases of his triangle, as once more this orbiter is forced to lift up. And Reynor has already been stealing some resources from the base on the right side. So I don't think Spirit could ever even catch up in that regard. But yeah, that's not the biggest deal. If the Ghost can get amazing fights, it will be alright. He burrowed a whole bunch of banelings on the ramp there, and I wonder if Spirit saw it. That could be big, man. Imagine if a bunch of Ghosts walk over that.
Yeah, I think Lurkers were on hold position as well, because they start firing a little bit late, kill a couple of units as a result. And Reynor now sieging the production. Spirit will take down another base of Reynor to try and slow him down, but it's too powerful.
These drones are too powerful, mate. Look at that. Marines going down, Marauders going down. Oh, scan goes down. Here come the Marines, but we don't look for the Marines. We look for the Ghosts. If we are Reynor here, he's going to try to bait the Ghosts into the banelings, maybe. I wouldn't reveal it for a couple of Marines. It's not that important.
Oh my god,
what?
It's all standing on top of it, yeah. He didn't go for it.
I guess he didn't see that there were Ghosts, maybe. I mean, he should.
Yeah, I don't think even the Ghosts die though. They're extremely resilient against 5 banelings even, yeah. I don't think they die. It's crazy.
5 banelings must kill Ghosts. Come on.
I don't think they do. It's very close. Maybe 6.
Really? They're gone now.
Those
nice target fire,
they're skinny. They're skinny. You would think they die really quickly, but they are very tanky.
Oh no, I know they tanky, mate. My zealots also struggle with them. Don't you worry, especially in choke points. But 5 banelings feels like an insane amount of banelings to kill a Ghost.
It should. They don't do extra damage to them, but I mean, I could be mistaken, but oh, that's a sad mule.
We obviously do have all the upgrades. I mean, Spirit's still trying to get his hands on that very important base that you were talking about on the right side. That base belongs to Spirit. If we split the map, that base belongs to Spirit, but it hasn't really belonged to Spirit. Reynor does need to be a little bit careful because he's definitely not as rich as he once upon a time was. And there will be that moment where the Terran player could potentially still max out and have an absolutely monstrous army. Like losing Hydras here and stuff, I feel is maybe a little bit questionable because those are kind of pricey units.
Yeah, that base belongs to Spirit less and less though. I mean, Reynor has carved his way to where he can actually continue to threaten this main base. And yeah, it makes it so difficult for Spirit to secure that base because if we look at the blue on the map, like that is the area that Spirit can walk through freely. And there is nothing connecting over to this base, the base that he needs to mine. So I like the efforts, the concentrated efforts of Reynor to kind of just push him out of there. And Spirit has not been able to dislodge Reynor from this base, which should belong to Reynor, right? So therein lies his issue. At some point, I think Spirit right now, actually, he already mined all the gases there. I think right now, you just give up on this base and you transfer your entire army to the right to try and secure that side.
Because that is indeed the most important one. There is a Widow Mine that's going to get a little bit of connection, but these Marauders are going to get picked off. The Liberators in a bit of a dicey spot there too, as they are completely outmatched by those corrupted numbers. A few more Ghosts are going to fall. Spirit is going to try to make something happen on the high ground there. That hatch is so low, man. Like even the Ghost could probably solo the hatch. But I mean, Reynor is pretty much done with this space, to be totally honest. There's nothing left here.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Like, I would have loved that move a little bit earlier, but as it stands, even if he kills it right now, Reynor is mostly done with it, and once Spirit repositions to the other side, Reynor will just take that and finish mining that base. Still, I don't know what Spirit is looking to accomplish on this side of the map. Takes down that base. He wants to float his CC there.
Yeah, but like there's nothing to mine anymore.
Yeah.
There's 106 gas and 242 gas, so a little over 340 gas, 348 I guess. And then the mineral patches, in all 4 of them combined, we're not even looking at 400 minerals. The command center costs that much. So I agree with you. Like, it's nice that we finally got it, and I guess it's a mental victory. But the only base that truly matters is the one at 3 o'clock, and there is Spirit moving towards.
Yeah, but a few minutes late, right? Like, I feel like Reynor has gained so much ground on this side of the map. The production is gone. The main is gone from Spirit, so not much of anything connecting him to this base at this point. So yeah, I think I can see why the army was there, right? To try to defend the left-hand side from Spirit, because there was the last 2 bases that he would have been mining were on the left. But once you mine those bases, and he did in the last couple of minutes, especially the gas, I think you just go over to the other side. Now he's here. He's going to have to try to push Reynor out of it, though, because he has the fortified position. And like Obi-Wan would say, he has the high ground.
I find it so crazy that Spirit has actually lost more resources in a 34-minute game. I honestly think if you ask Reynor what's going to make him most proud, it's not the fact that he wins 2-0 the most happy. It's the fact that he can play a game like this against a very, very defensive Terran and actually trade more cost efficient. Like, that is insane, guys. How often do we see that? A Terran losing more resources than a Zerg in a 35-minute game on Hardwire? That's the first for me, mate.
Yeah, it's not very common for sure. Reynor did play for cost efficiency to a good degree, right? Went for the Broodlords, went for the Infestors, went for the Vipers, and for the Spores. But yeah, I mean, Spirit went for the maximum cost efficient army as well. Straight into those Ghosts, straight into the Thors for the Broodlords and the Liberators to zone out. It just has been Reynor being back. Holy shit!
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen that many Broodlords in this level of play.
Looks like we're suddenly watching a 2v2 game, right? This is kind of how some of these 2v2 armies is like, all right, you give me all your resources and I'll make mass Broodlords. And yeah, 24 Broodlords.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be tough.
Yeah. Yeah, that is gonna be fucking tough. My god, that is a lot of Broodlords. And all these Infestors have to do is land the fungal before, you know, the snipes go off. The Ghosts have to bunch up basically at some point to kill the Broodlords. Normally, Thor's a great answer to Broodlords, but 6 against 24 is not going to work out. Those Ghosts have to get involved. That's where Reynor has to be careful just not to bunch up all of his Infestors. Use one at a time to move forward and fungal the Ghost just to stop the snipe. And he should be in a golden position.
Oh, I love that Parabomb. Especially now where resources are becoming very scarce. I think this is lovely. It just hurts the mech unit. Spirit obviously don't want to spend his money just repairing them over and over again. Energy for resources is a great trade for Reynor at this point. He can do this all over again. Even just a single Liberator, and I think it's completely worth it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Steadfast has the math in the chat. He says 5 Banelings with +3 versus +3 armor Ghost. The Ghost survives with 5 HP. So yeah, you need 6 Banelings.
Okay, but he had a couple Lings there too now.
True.
2 taps of the Ling. 5 Banelings and 2 taps of the Zergling. And that's all you need.
This Hellbat though. I mean, you gotta love to see it, right? Reynor actually like did this little split to take less damage. Like at this point, when you're looking at 4 Zerglings, 36 minutes in, and with 65,000 resources lost on one side and 70,000 on the other, and you're still babysitting the 25 resources.
I'm wondering if these two guys have like a bonus thing in their contract where the longer they are on the mainstream, the bigger the bonus. And they're like, all right, let's drag it out, baby. 37 minutes hardwire. Let's do it. 1 Parabomb at a time. It's like, I just don't see a way for Spirit.
Oh, does this Thor win? It's close.
No.
He loses.
Lynx is so good, man. Lynx is so
he was one-shotting them. He couldn't get this around because of the turret there, so.
I was looking at the Viper just dropping 1 Parabomb at a time.
What a nasty.
I feel like, you know, you have a lot of Broodlords when even if a nuke would perfectly land in the center, he wouldn't kill all the Broodlords. That's when you know you have a lot of Broodlords.
Indeed. I mean, Spirit doesn't seem to have any sense of urgency to take this base, though, which is just surprising, right? Like, he has to anticipate that. Like, you get a
He's playing
good
for
feel.
a draw, almost. I think he's playing for
Right?
a draw, or
Yeah.
he's playing for a Reynor troll. That is what he's
Yeah.
playing for at this point.
Yeah, it's kind of nuts, though, like, because you get the sense for how cost efficient you have been, and you know you're not maxed out. So you need that base, right? Because, I mean, you scanned the army of your opponent. That is a maxed out army.
Snipe, snipe.
So you need that base.
That's kind of big. 2 Broodlords for nothing.
Yeah.
No, I think he's given up on the base cast. I think the base dream is completely dead for Spirit. Spirit right now is playing either for a draw, or he's playing for, let's hope Reynor attacks into me, or he's playing the ultra late game where he just feels that he's got an invincible setup and he's going to try to win with 1 snipe at a time. And obviously, if he feels like he's getting close to that, then he can also expect Reynor to attack into him. Look at these ghosts coming in from
very
the left
cute.
side. James Bond and Splinter Cell over there.
Yeah. Oh, gonna fight 2 Vipers as well.
Okay, this
All
big.
right.
All right, like this. Yeah, slowly but steady. You could say, I guess he's going to win. But the thing is, Reynor
Right,
still
yeah.
has 5k in the bank.
No, yeah. I mean, he needs that, like, steady for the next 10 minutes. Then
Yeah.
we're talking about a Spirit victory.
But I guess that's just the way that he looks at this game at this point. He's like, all right, I will never attack into you. If you attack into me, you're going to lose. So I'm going to try to win with 1 snipe at a time. And we have 29 ghosts again, by the way. I didn't even think that we were that. Is there a way for Reynor to do something aggressively? Like the Blinding Clouds, couple of, maybe 2 Abducts, Blinding Clouds,
He doesn't
Fungal.
need to, though. He has the base.
Yeah, the base is almost gone anyway. If we get
Yeah.
sniped 1 at a time, eventually we're going to have to do something.
Yeah, I think that Reynor can. Yeah, there we go. Like, Reynor can defensively act
Oh my
when
God.
the ghosts move forward.
Look at the amount of broodlings. That just that is ridiculous.
That is actually one thing that Reynor can do as well. Is shoot broodlings onto something, maybe a gas that's depleted or something like that,
Yeah.
or a drone at some point, and then just attack with the broodlings for free.
The current dance is 4 Vipers, 10
Creep
Infestus
tumor.
against 28 a Ghost.
Yeah, creep tumors, changelings. He has targets where he can. I mean, that's the safest way for Reynor to be aggressive, I guess, because he has so many broodlords that it's not an irrelevant number of broodlings that he can throw at.
No,
Spirit.
that's ridiculous. That Ghost was in range for open 1 second, and like 40 of them popped up on the ground.
Yeah.
I like how Reynor is still just microing every single circling in the top left side.
Yeah. He's just playing it safe. He doesn't necessarily know how far ahead he is. Also, like, looks at the army of Spirit and looks terrifying. And
I
he
think
doesn't
he
have
knows-
scan, mind you, right? So
I do think that Reynor knows that obviously
here
he's
we
very
go.
far ahead. He's at great trade. Gets to look at the broodlings again. How
Yep.
many is it? There's so many. It's
I didn't
Okay.
kick him.
3 full rows. I need to.
That's 24. No, three full rows. It's just
4,
one
6,
screen is
8,
24.
10, 12. Yeah, 24. I think, yeah, it was around 40. Because I think it was like 3 or 4 on the final row. So 40, 41 broodlings there for the ghost was abducted. I think Reynor knows that he's very far ahead. I think Reynor just really does not want to throw. And he's like, Spirit, if you want to do this, mate, we can do this. We can do this all day. I think Reynor is also just a real colleague to us right now. He knows that Latin America StarCraft starts at 10 p.m. And he's like,
Nice
it's bad
guy.
for StarCraft if there is a very big break between the European region and the Latin American region. Too many ads
Yeah.
will be played. Reynor doesn't like it. So he's just dragging it out a little bit. What a
He's
guy.
just making up for the Black Games.
Oh, that was
Good
pretty big.
snipe still from Spirit. And I like that he's getting aggressive after he MP'd the Vipers, because there's always going to be that little bit of gap where he can't get punished. Now the Viper's back with energy. 1 Ghost was singled out to go forward and potentially EMP. Readjusts now. Oh,
Reynor.
Be careful.
Oh, we're going to get a couple of
No
upducks on
parasite?
the Thors. I mean, that's so many broodlings. Here we go, Cats. It's all yours, mate. We've been waiting for
all
it.
right. And here comes the Fungal to avoid 1 Infestor at a time. Has to push him forward here. All right, 2 is fine and gets beautiful fungals onto those ghosts. Here's a beautiful concave. However, for Spirit, Reynor has to actually be pretty careful here. He does have a massive bank, so he can't afford to lose this army to some degree, just not without trading for anything.
Yeah. Walking into the Liberators would have been indeed very dicey with the spellcasters. The Lurkers also tried to join in on the right side, but that reminded me of myself in high school. They really didn't do a whole lot there. As we have... Oh, Neuroparasite EMP! He missed! He missed the EMP! Can you believe the scenes we just saw? He only got one of the ghosts, even though 7 ghosts were clumped up.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there.
Too excited. I was surprised, by the way, that right now I feel like there should be an infestor at the south west of that side block.
There it is.
For instance. Yeah, there it is. But he should have had it before, a little bit further towards the left. Now we land the EMP.
Nice.
Get the majority of the ghosts.
Now he can engage probably, because you can just neuroparasite the Thors at the front, and then the Roots will clean up.
Hey, you see there is a 0 right now above the mini-map. It was just like 42, 43, and now it's 0, 43, 30. Do you know why that is?
Why is that? Oh, I know. It's because they changed the time. It must be, right? So before it would have been already over
exactly.
an hour.
In the old Blizzard seconds, this would have been a 1 hour game. But eventually they decided that Blizzard seconds shouldn't be a thing. So we turned it into a real clock. But now whenever we reach like 43 something or 42 something, whatever it is, it's been 1 hour. As another infestor goes down. Reynor does still have a 60 army supply lead, but he's about to lose a couple lurkers there. Can we abduct a few ghosts? No, wow, those were good snipes for Spirit.
Yeah. Still, I mean, the supply is the problem, right? Like, Spirit is trading cost efficiently, but it's too little too late here. As Reynor has already mined way more than him, so... Still Reynor at some point will collapse. Even in resources lost?
Yeah, dead even,
yeah, but
pretty much. After a 44-minute game, they are 260 resources separated.
Yeah, and that would be a reason for celebration for every snipe for Spirit if he had mined the base that Reynor is about to finish.
Yeah, exactly. Then it would be great. If this would have been indeed evenly split, then Spirit would be winning this game. Because now the ghosts have unlimited potential. But Reynor has had 2 bases more than Spirit for the entirety of this game.
Yeah. Snipe onto the overseer. Anything is good. Now it's out of energy completely. A fungal.
Oh my god, come on. That is a legion. 4 full taps.
Here we go.
We're looking 96 Brootlings were on the ground there for a split second. This is not even a fight. The Thors are about to get surrounded by a ridiculous amount of Brootlings. And I think that is going to do it for this 45-minute game. Reynor beats Spirit at his own game. GG. Reynor gets a 2-0 in his opening match